single laugh. Soft, almost mischievous. When Xiao Zhan heard how Wang Yibo was described on a deadly cliff in Yosemite, his reaction said more than words ever could. Because sometimes a laugh is a confession. The story did not begin on a red carpet. It did not begin under flashing cameras or scripted interviews. It began on a cliff face called Liberty Cap, cold, unforgiving, and honest. Ryder Stroud, a seasoned professional climbing guide, had seen it all. Years of experience, countless extreme ascents. Yet in one last climb, part 1, his voice changed when he spoke about one name. Wang Yibo. He's too naughty, Ryder said, half laughing, half exhausted. So much energy. This was not a compliment meant for the camera. It was a raw reaction, spontaneous, unfiltered, real. Liberty Cap is not a playground. Every step demands precision. Every movement is measured against gravity itself. But Wang Yibo climbed as if the mountain were alive beneath him. He moved fast. He laughed at heights that silence most people. He radiated restless momentum, like stillness was something he had never learned. And as the video spread across fandom spaces worldwide, another name quietly entered the conversation. Not through headlines, but through reaction. Xiao Zhan, not on the mountain, not in the frame, yet somehow present. Witnesses didn't describe Xiao Zhan's reaction as dramatic. It wasn't loud. It wasn't exaggerated. It was a laugh, small, crooked, and unmistakably knowing. A laugh that felt personal. As Ryder Stroud's words echoed online, fans noticed the shift. Because when someone laughs like that, they are not surprised. They are remembering. Too naughty, too much energy. For the public, these were entertaining descriptors. For Xiao Zhan, it seemed familiar. Those close to Wang Yibo have long spoken about his intensity, his relentless drive, his refusal to slow down, whether on stage, on set, or now on a vertical wall of stone. But hearing it from a man who guides climbers for a living, that added weight. Ryder was not exaggerating for drama. He was recounting survival. And Xiao Zhan's quiet amusement felt like an unspoken translation. Yes, that's him. The fandom noticed the timing, the silence, the smile that lingered just a second longer than expected. Sometimes, the strongest reactions are the ones that try to stay hidden. High above the ground, where oxygen thins and every mistake carries a consequence. Wang Yibo became something else entirely. Not an idol, not an actor, not a public figure shaped by expectations. Just a climber, alone with the mountain. Liberty Cap does not forgive hesitation. It does not reward arrogance. It demands respect, patience, and absolute control. Yet Wang Yibo moved with an energy that seemed almost rebellious against the rules of nature. His hands reached instinctively. His feet found holds before fear could catch up. And when the wind cut across the cliff face, he smiled. Not for the camera, but for the thrill of being fully alive. Ryder Stroud watched closely. As a guide, he had learned to read danger before it happened. He had learned when to intervene, when to warn, when to slow a climber down. But with Wang Yibo, slowing down was the hardest part. He just keeps going, Ryder admitted later. Not as a complaint, as an observation. This was not recklessness. This was momentum, the kind that comes from someone who has spent a lifetime pushing past limits. The same momentum fans recognize on stage, when Wang Yibo dances as if his body refuses restraint. The same momentum seen on film sets, where exhaustion never quite seems to reach his eyes. On the mountain, that energy was stripped of glamour. It became raw, unfiltered truth. And as footage of his climb spread across the world, one thing became clear. This was Wang Yibo at his most honest. Somewhere far from the granite walls of Yosemite, the story reached Xiao Zhan, not through headlines screaming for attention, not through dramatic narration, just a simple description. Too naughty, so much energy, and Xiao Zhan laughed. It wasn't loud enough to demand notice. It wasn't playful in a careless way. It was knowing. That laugh felt like a quiet acknowledgement, as if the words had unlocked memories rather than surprise. Because when someone laughs like that, they aren't learning something new. They're recognizing something deeply familiar. Fans felt it instantly. This wasn't fandom imagination. It wasn't rumor. It was emotional literacy. Xiao Zhan didn't correct Ryder Stroud. He didn't defend Wang Yibo. He didn't soften the description, because perhaps there was nothing to correct. The mountain saw Wang Yibo without filters, and Xiao Zhan's reaction suggested he had seen the same side long ago. The restless drive, the boundless energy, the quiet defiance of limits. In an industry built on carefully curated images, this moment felt dangerously real. Two men, two separate places, one shared understanding, connected not by words, but by recognition. When Wang Yibo stepped away from Liberty Cap, the climb ended, but the story did not. Ryder Stroud returned with a new respect, not just for Wang Yibo's skill, but for his spirit. A climber who refused to be small, a presence that demanded attention, even from a mountain. Xiao Zhan remained silent, and yet his laughter lingered longer than any statement could, because sometimes silence is not absence. It is restraint. That soft, mischievous laugh carried layers, familiarity, understanding, and perhaps even concern wrapped in affection. It reminded fans that behind the public personas are histories we are not meant to fully see. The mountain told one truth, a laugh told another, and between those two moments, a fuller picture emerged of Wang Yibo's unstoppable energy, and of someone who understands exactly how wild that fire can burn. So the question remains, quietly hanging in the air. When you laugh at someone's recklessness, is it because it surprises you? Or because you've always known and accepted exactly who they are? Sometimes, the most powerful stories are not spoken aloud. They are felt,